All right. Once again, thank you for joining us. We are the Inglewood Enterprise Gallery. All right. And I got Brother Hood joining us today. Thank you for coming through, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me, brother.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Brother Hood is a fellow artist joining us to tell us all about his art form as an artist, as well as his level of community engagement and community development, which you know we are always a fan of here at the Inglewood Enterprise Gallery. Yes, indeed. And for those of us who might not be familiar with who we are the Inglewood Enterprise Gallery, located at our new address at 35th and Racine inside the Bridgeport Arts Center. You can always email us at enterprisegallery@gmail.com, and always check out our website for updates at inglewood-enterprisegallery.com. That's www.inglewood-enterprisegallery.com. And you can always check us out on Facebook. We like to update that regularly. So, thank you for joining us once again. The Inglewood Enterprise Gallery, we engage in community development, art workshops, art education, and our motto is we like to uplift humanity using arts and creativity. We believe that we can use creativity and innovation to come up with new ideas to deal with our problems and engage community development. So joining us today is Brother Hood. All right. Yes, indeed. Now, Brother Hood, your organization is?
Hood Hope Movement.
The Hood Hope Movement. Hood Hope Movement. Yes, indeed. So, what is it that the Hood Hope Movement does and engages in?
Well, our mission statement is to put an end to senseless violence and create economic opportunities in disenfranchised communities.
Yes.
So that encompasses a lot, and in the process of living up to those mission statements, I earned the name Mr. Shut 'em Down and Mr. Boots on the Ground.
Okay.
So I think those are, it fits. It fits the mission statement. Like, you got to be boots on the ground, and you got to come to shut it down in order to fulfill that mission statement. So it's been going good for the past 7 years.
Okay. Okay. So for those out there in TV world that might not be familiar, by shut 'em down, what exactly is it that we mean?
Well, I got that name, Shut 'em Down, actually from, and shout out to Sister Carolyn J. Ruff, because she initiated the boycott at 642 East 47th Street, and that's Misha.
I'm familiar.
That boycott been going on about 3 years.
So, I'm sorry, I know I just asked you a question, but I love for you to tell me about that boycott, because I drive by there regularly, and there is regular protests. You know, for a long-standing protest. And I've always wondered what that was about, but hey, I never walked up and asked. So it's awesome that you're here and can tell me in the community, indeed, what it's all about.
And I'm honored to speak on it. You know, actually, it began in North Carolina with a sister who got choked, allegedly stealing some eyelashes, and she was pregnant, and they kicked and choked her, and the video was circulating. So Sister Carolyn J. Ruff, an activist here in Chicago, and Chicago should be proud of our activism here, the home of Farrakhan, etc. She initiated it at that store because that was part of the franchise, the chain. And a lot of people came throughout the years, but me, myself, I put in months and months and months and months and months and months out there, like hours and hours, and it had became, for lack of a better term, I say addictive. Like, I looked forward to coming, you know, to the boycott, and then I started learning about Facebook Live, too. So I started meeting people from all over the world, and sometimes, like what they said with Jesus, a prophet is without honor in his own house. So sometimes you was getting more love from total strangers on social media, and maybe you could speak to that, too, as opposed to people that was right there in my face. Sisters arguing with me to get in the store, calling their man up there. Was police was involved, Crime Chaser, Martin the Crime Chaser, he went to jail. Montgomery, he went to jail. It was a lot of us went to jail. It was just a mess up there. But I learned a lot from it, and I earned the name Mr. Shut 'em Down, because I came to shut 'em down.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting because a lot of times, you know, I really believe in the world, and this is just my personal view to your question. You know, a lot of what aligns us is what we have in our mind and in our spirit. And we can be brothers and sisters of the same blood or even look the same. But that don't make us all the same, and that don't necessarily make what we have in our heart all of the same.
That's true.
So a lot of times you got to throw a large net you know, and get people who you might even not know to recognize that particular level of kinship.
I'm glad you mentioned that because that ties into Hood Hope Movement.
Yes.
Because my story is quite unique, and I'm gonna be dropping some books and stuff like that. And basically, I grew up in Chicago. You know, the same tribal warfare and this stuff that Ronald Reagan put in our community, which is crack cocaine. And I came up during the '80s. I was a shorty. I was a teenager in the '80s when crack cocaine hit our communities.
Yes.
And so that devastation could go take up the whole show.
Yes.
So, but anyway, yeah, right, they could. But anyway,
but. There are, you know, there are some good pieces of like videos and documentaries.
Oh, they can Google it and it tell you Ronald Reagan,
like
the
CIA,
the reporter that exposed to Gary Ware. He got found with 2 holes in the head, talking about suicide. Oliver North took the fifth on the stand, a 5-star general, talking about, did you poison us with crack and use the money for illegal war? I take the fifth.
Even the Congressional Black Caucus at one time had written a statement to the government asking them to make clear their involvement.
That was Maxine Waters probably leading that.
Yes, it was. So, you know, that was 20 years ago. So this ain't no new
And this was an
information.
epidemic that affected us personally. Not we read it on the book or on YouTube, like our families was addicted.
Right.
People were shooting at each other over who gonna sell it where.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah, it's something that affected everybody. We can all think of a family member who we know who was affected by that.
Refrigerator empty.
Yeah.
And this was Ronald Reagan. So, and we know that. And so that all that stuff led to me end up doing 15 years in the penitentiary.
Okay.
And that particular case was actually for something I didn't do. But I wasn't no quiet boy on the street. So they call it karma or whatever. But in that process was from Malcolm Little to Malcolm X to Malik El-Haj-Shabazz conversion. You see what I'm saying? And so that's what prompted this. But going back to what you were saying about the kinship.
Yes.
Hood Hope Movement, because I studied the Nation of Islam. I work with them. I love them. I work with the peasants. We was name dropping Chairman Fred. And not just name dropping Chairman Fred. That's my guy. I spoke to him earlier. I'm going to speak to him again. Blah, blah, blah. And on and on. But I met him when I was incarcerated, waking up. He was my cellmate when I was waking up.
Wow.
And I was reading about his father, the Honorable Chairman Fred Hampton Sr., who was assassinated by Chicago police in 100 shots in the cover-up, him and Mark Clark, December 4th, 1969. Amazing. And that anniversary is coming up. And so, yeah, that is amazing. But he was my cellmate while I was waking up. Because I came in, gangbanging unconscious and the foolishness that they have deceived our entire communities with. I was a victim of that. But Hood Hope Movement, I could have been a member of the Panthers or the Nation of Islam. Of course, the Moors, I love the Moors and we want more of the Moors. But I realized sometimes this could be divisionary.
True.
And prevent us from working together hand in hand. And we can have conscious ciphers or conscious wars, who read the most or who fed the most or who did the most. And I say, no, Hood Hope Movement could be an umbrella for GDs, BDs, for Christians, Muslims, for this kind of more, that kind of more, where Medina can say, man, I'm from Inglewood, bro. You know what I'm saying? I roll with them, but I'm with Hood Hope. And another brother like, man, I'm from out west, man. I don't care nothing about none of that.
Yes.
I grew up in Holy City, but I'm with Hood Hope. Yes. And so that's what I designed Hood Hope for. What not to be egotistical or to say these organizations ain't doing enough. All these organizations are great. We actually need it all and more.
Yes.
Not to say don't start another organization, don't reinvent the wheel. If God put that on your heart, brother, or if God put that on your heart, sister, then do what you do and seek the help. Because while we complaining about what Obama ain't doing or what Farrakhan and them should be doing, why don't you do it? Why don't you just do it? Because that's what I chose to do. It's certain things them brothers and sisters don't do that I would want done, and so I have decided to do it.
That's heavy, brother, and I commend you.
Thank you,
that's a very enriching story. Just a little bit that you done share with us, and I can't wait till you drop them books on the community because it's gonna be.
I'm really giving the first chapter out free, and it's called the deniggerization process.
Woo. Man.
And people been inboxing me, they email, and I've been giving them the first chapter free.
Yeah. Wow, that's interesting. Brotherhood, Hood Hope Movement. Now you mentioned God in your statement.
Absolutely.
And I think that, before I get to that, I'm sorry, I want to remind the people at home that this is a live show, you know what I'm saying? It's a provocative show as well. So I know y'all got an opinion on what's being said. So feel free to call in. The number's at the bottom of your screen, 312-738-1060. Inglewood Enterprise Gallery, Shy Ride Show. You mentioned God.
Yes,
and some people are religious, some people are spiritual, some people don't really get into none of that. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? But they got whatever their guiding force that they believe is greater than themselves and may help them maneuver through the storm. And since you mentioned God, what's your thoughts on spirituality as well as how that plays a part in our movements? Or does it play a part in our movements?
Well, first of all, we want to thank God for just being here. We want to thank God for this interview. We want to thank God for the viewers watching. We want to just push healing on everybody who needs healing, and that's everybody. We all need healing in some type of aspect. So I just said that to say I mean, because God is action.
Yes.
It's an action word, so I don't know if they consider it now like a person, place, or a thing or whatever, but I think that God is action word. So they say that we gods, or we made in the image of God, right? Some people say that. And so with Hood Hope Movement, we're not discriminatory. We're actually what they would call non-denominational. But far as we're waking up more, like it's more to waking up. We ain't all the way woke. The rabbit hole gets deeper. So when you're talking about your God, or you're talking about we're God, or we're made in the image of God, let's make it clear that I don't believe in no sky daddy. I don't believe in no spook God. I don't believe in a God that can't do nothing. As I was demonstrating with my son, I said, what have God done for you? And then I had to point out to him what his God has done for him, that he could see and touch and taste. And I say, whatever developed that, keep pushing that, because that's the God that's helping you. Because I can't pray to a God that ain't doing nothing for me. Then why would that make sense? I'm just saying, please God, let my phone bill be paid, but then my phone is cut off. So not saying that, prayer without action is dead, of course. Faith without works. So of course you're going to put your faith with your works, but we have to accept responsibility. We can't lean on no sky daddy. We can't wait for nobody to come back. We already back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So that's just how I feel on that.
Most definitely. Most definitely. Once again, man, this is it's a deep episode. I appreciate you coming in, my brother.
Absolutely, bro.
Inglewood Enterprise Gallery at our new location, 35th and Racine. Feel free to check out our website, inglewood.enterprisegallery.com, to get more information and updates. You can always like us on Facebook as well, on Inglewood Enterprise Gallery on Facebook. And we are back. Also, for those of y'all who might not be familiar with the Inglewood Enterprise Gallery, a picture is worth 1,000 words. And I always like to show a video of some of the things that we do. We engage in youth mentorship. We also have facilitated a Kid Biz entrepreneurship camp where we teach children between the ages of 7 and 17 how to create business plans, how to come up with a logo and create their own brand. And then we show them how to take their creativity and creative skills and use that to make money for themselves, so that we continue to condition our young people to have options. You got to have more than one iron in the fire, and you definitely got to be creative about how you get your paper, because you don't want to do nothing that's going to send you to jail. All right. So once again, let me play this little video. Feel free to give us a call and let me know what you think about the awesome things that we do at the Inglewood Enterprise Gallery. And all right. Oh, man, it looks like we got a caller on the line. Awesome.
What up,
Perfect
caller?
timing. Go on and patch them on through. How you doing, caller?
Yeah, how you doing?
Everything is well.
I'm calling to ask, do y'all provide legal representation for someone that's trying to deal business with the city of Chicago?
He said, he talking the question directed toward me. Do we
Is that for
provide
either
legal
one of us, or is it
representation
for Hood Hope?
Well, for either one of y'all can answer.
And what is the legal representation for?
I had some property that was tore down by the city of Chicago, and my business, they didn't go to court or give me any notification or anything. And I was
Right,
on
yeah,
vacation
that's some
when it
civil
happened.
litigation. And I wouldn't even begin to perpetrate the fraud on that. I haven't really tampered with that real estate. We deal more with criminal law. And civil law on the level of suing the city for like police brutality or for like taking our cars. We've been dealing with that lately since before Lori Lightfoot got in there, but putting more pressure now that Lori's in there. Maybe we got somebody on our side.
Yeah.
But yeah, with the boots on the cars and stuff like that. But when it comes to the real estate, that's some kind of like, I wouldn't say complicated law. I guess it's complicated to anybody that don't know it. So yeah, real estate law is not that. It's not
That's
that
a tough
simple,
one, bro. Because we definitely don't. There's not any group that I can think of off the top of my head that provides those services on a community level, maybe pro bono. I don't know if you have access to the internet, but maybe it's something that you might be able to Google just to get a handful of numbers of some people you can call, because they do have certain services like down there at the
Tenants' rights
courthouse.
associations and
Yeah,
stuff
you
like
got
that. And they probably
tenants'
get
rights
direct.
associations. Yeah, most definitely. So yeah, definitely look into something like that, bro. Landowner rights, tenants' rights, all of that stuff to see who is out there doing some help for people in need who
And again,
can't
shout out to
afford
the
a lawyer.
Moors. You know, the Moors, they kind of push that paperwork and having your stuff straight. And some people go back and forth on it and saying who's right and who's wrong. But the bottom line, the Moors have a reputation as far as being in the conscious community. With the circle of the conscious, they the main ones known for pushing that paper, the Moor Science Temple. So yeah, they know a lot of them know about real estate and land and the little name word games they play and all that, and how they bully us out our property and stuff.
As well as the legal system. I know one of their key terms is know your laws.
Facts.
You know, so
You know
it's
what I'm saying, right?
You know,
They
know
claim
your
the
laws is
nationality,
very
they going
important.
deep, you know. So yeah.
But also, before the show is over, I do have a few brief announcements. We got Queen Zenobia and the Inglewood Enterprise Gallery involved in a couple of other projects, hip-hop related projects and things like that. So we want to make sure to inform you on October 26th, you got Hip-Hop Halloween at Subterranean. That's at 10 p.m. That's also,
That's gonna be lit.
Hip-Hop
That's gonna be
Halloween.
lit.
That sound pretty raw.
Sub always be lit.
Then we also have November 2nd, Rock Nation, Inglewood Enterprise Gallery is going to be on deck with the
Chirac.
Elements. At the Elements on 31st and Elston. Also, we got Vinyl Cypher Sundays coming up, and you're going to be able to catch our very own Queen Zenobia over there at Vinyl Cypher Sundays, and that is going to be at the Art Gallery on 47th Street. Over there at 436 East 47th Street, and
They've been pumping that place up too.
yeah, and then they also gonna have Large Professor from back in the days.
I'm looking at the front door, dude.
Yeah,
That's all
yeah.
I remember about him. That's a banger though, bro. Hey, that's dealing with relationship issues though. He went deep as an artist, you know what I'm saying? And not just talk about our chains and, you know, our female counterparts and stuff that we really like. We like cars and chains and women and stuff, and that's great. But bro went deep to talk about, you know, the relationship. And I feel that them bars, bro.
Yeah. Yeah,
He say, I glide to the side till the spotlight is mine and never sabotage a good time.
That's
Yeah,
good.
Large Professor.
Speaking of hip hop, I almost forgot about one of the most important features that we're gonna play today, and this is actually Hood Hope Movement, right?
Facts.
And this is called Who? And I'm gonna let y'all check it out because it's heavy.
Malcolm X, who? Tupac Shakur, who? I'm who's next, who? I'm Rosa Parks, who? I'm Ida B, who? Nataki Rose, who? I'm Angela D, who? I'm Harriet T, who? I'm Carter G, who? I'm Marcus G, Drew, I leave it you and me. Peace to
Chicago, the last stand. Sean Floyd from there.
Feel like I'm Farrakhan, who? Malcolm X, who? Tupac Shakur, who? I'm who's next, who? I'm Rosa Parks, who? I'm Ida B, who? Nataki Rose, who? I'm Angela D, who? I'm Harriet T, who? I'm Carter G, who? Marcus G, Drew Ali, it's you and me. Peace to Farrakhan, the Don, the God got me inspired. Come harder, retire, what? They spit sparks, I spit fire. Pay homage to the Messiah, inspired by the honorable Elijah. Say he ain't the truth, that's proof that you a liar. Been on fire, over 50 plus, raising us higher, lifting us up. Was even busting and moving when them rookies set my city up. This is us, better recognize more than papers and bean pies. Got souls that's out here in disguise, from the 6 to the 5 and the Afro eyes. Never the assist, but I'm testifying because the NOI never left behind. No soul in need when they hit the line. More reason to believe that it's divine. It's my time to shine, cause I'm what? Feel like I'm Farrakhan, who? Malcolm X, who? Tupac Shakur, who? I'm who's next, who? I'm
Man, that's heavy right there, brother. That's heavy. That's straight lessons. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Man, I'm impressed with that. Who is that for? I mean, not that it's limiting, but is that something for young people to get into, or elders, or just about anybody that's searching? Like, have you had? Because young people today, man, they're a little different about their interests and what they will allow themselves to listen to, you know. So have you been able to get them into something that's hot like this?
I really had no trouble at all with being received.
Yes.
I think more so like with the little bitty ones, we need to get the little bitty ones with it. Get them to singing that song, like how they sing Hickory Dickory Dock, the mouse ran up the clock, or whatever they sing.
Yeah.
Because our shorties know who Nas X is, the new rapper with that, what's the song, Ride 'em or whatever, Ride the Town.
Yeah.
I know it's like a little popular song or whatever, it's real hot, but they don't know who Malcolm X is. Literally. Like, we literally did a give back. This is literally doing a give back with the nation, inside of the nation, inside of the headquarters on 73rd and Stony. We was in the gym. And so I was hustling, you know, trying to fundraise. Not trying, I was fundraising. But anyway, there was some stuff left over, so I wanted to give it away. We don't leave with nothing, you know, or whatever. And so I was like, y'all can have it, but y'all gonna answer some questions first. And I didn't want to give them no difficult questions. I see they really wanted the little treats we had or whatever, and I didn't want to, you know, trouble them and bog their mind down. I just told them to tell me who was Farrakhan. And we was in the mosque. And there was a lot of children right there. None of them could answer.
Wow.
And so this is what we dealing with, an education deficit. And so we need songs like that. Some of them don't know who Rosa Parks is. They don't know who Marcus Garvey, Carter G. Woods. At one point, I didn't know who they was.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about as an adult, I had to learn about these people. Not that I've never heard of Rosa Parks. Yeah, she refused to sit down and all that. But I'm talking about going deep into Noble Drew Ali.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? I learned about these people when I was an adult.
Yes.
So if we can catch a 5 or 6, this is a song you can play around your grandmother, your mother, and this is a song to get the crowd hyped.
And ain't no cussing in it either, huh?
Absolutely, ain't no cussing in none of my
Yes,
songs.
sir.
You know
Yes,
what I'm
sir.
saying? So
Yes, sir.
yeah, and I got, you know, so that's how they go. But yeah, to get the crowd, it's crowd involvement because they say the who part. You know what I'm saying? So I think I'm Rosa Parks.
Who?
Malcolm X.
Who?
Tupac Shakur.
Who?
I'm who's next.
Who?
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You see,
Yeah,
you got it. So
easy.
yeah, it's crowd involvement too. So
Yeah.
with the shorties and stuff. So yeah.
So one more thing, and this is probably going, you know, it's a tricky question, not for you, but the listening audience at home, you know what I mean? I think, you know, it might heat up the lines and we almost out of the door.
Right.
You mentioned education deficit, all right? And we
Did
just
I say
happened.
that?
Yeah.
Wow, I said
Yeah.
that out loud.
We were talking
Right, no,
about knowledge
right.
in music, right?
Right, for sure.
You mentioned education deficits, and I homed in on that because we at an impasse right now with the teachers
Oh, yeah,
union
with the strike.
and the city, and the teachers is in the streets. They protesting.
Yeah,
you know
Chairman
what I mean?
Fred, shout out Chairman
Yeah.
Fred. He asked me about that earlier because he just came back to the city. So that just let you know it's heavy on people's hearts and minds. He mentioned it, like we was talking about something else, but he was like, what's up with the strike?
Yeah, yeah. So what's your thoughts on the strike? Since we recognize that we dealing with education deficits in our community already, while schools is open and now they're striking.
Wow. Like, come on, we talking about the we got 5 minutes, so we got 5 minutes to talk about the school to prison pipeline, when Rahm Emanuel closed down 50 schools at one time, but Daley closed about 100 schools, but in a slow process. But when the sister in Philadelphia, when they got hit with the school closings, she just said they didn't do nothing but cut out the middleman for the prison. So I'm looking at it from different angles, and I'm looking at it like it was a lot of black teachers that was affected by it, and it wasn't no strike then. But now all of a sudden it's a strike, and it's white people that run that union. I'm saying that with my last couple of seconds.
Yes, sir. I appreciate your
Just stating
provocative
facts.
views. Hey, you know what I'm
not
saying?
dissing nobody.
Yes.
I'm just stating facts. You know what I'm saying? So,
My man, Brother Hood, you know, from the Hood Hope Movement, I appreciate you coming through. We only got about another 15 seconds, and I don't need them to send security up in here to run me out the studio.
Right.
The Inglewood Enterprise Gallery, I appreciate you joining us. Catch us next week, Monday at 6:30, Inglewood Enterprise Shy Rise Show. Have a great day and be blessed. Peace.